let's be all the way for real.
It is true. And that's why I want you to dissociate.
Wangui Mungai is a certified master coach dedicated to helping people break free from self-sabotaging patterns. Through her own lived experience working through self-sabotage, combined with her coaching practice, she creates space that encourages clarity, self-awareness, and intentional action. Wangui's work is rooted in compassion and honesty, supporting individuals to understand themselves better and move forward with greater confidence and alignment. Most of us are just kind of in survival mode, trying to protect ourselves from feeling whatever trauma that we've been through.
100%.
And so how does that affect how we show up?
It's first identity, and then you now set up a story that you're telling yourself about yourself. And then now the habit or the behavior becomes very easy for you to do.
Yeah.
It now becomes like second nature,
Yeah.
but it starts from up there.
Yeah.
And that's why I also insist on having identity-based habits.
Yeah.
Break the loop or the loop continues, you know?
Do you think that we're addicted to suffering?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thank you, Wangui, for being here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming. Very excited to be talking about what you do. And I really thought that procrastination was just a little bit of laziness.
I know.
Because I struggle with it sometimes.
Yeah.
But you have an explanation for that. So
Yeah.
perhaps you can get into that. What is procrastination?
First of all, thank you as well for the opportunity. I love talking about self-sabotage and all that's in between. So procrastination is when you know you're supposed to do something, but you don't do it. So everything else is more important than what it is you need to do. So if I need to send a proposal, I'll do everything else. I will mop the house. I will make the food. I will go pick up the kids, but I'll not do that thing that I need to do. So, and most times people say it's laziness, and it makes sense because again, I'm the procrastination queen, for example. And so you'd say, I'm lazy. I never do things when I know I need to do them. But there's a deeper explanation to it, truly. There is a reason as to why procrastination is the thing that you're doing. Because if you look at it, you're not procrastinating, maybe like folding your laundry or picking up the kids.
Right.
This thing.
Yeah. We're usually procrastinating with things that we might find hard, right?
Yeah.
But all the easy stuff we can do.
Exactly. So the thing is then, and sometimes they're not even hard things. It's just that maybe it's something that needs something from you. And maybe there's a story that you're telling yourself about that particular thing. So maybe if I send this proposal, it might be rejected and that might touch on my rejection wound. There's something there. And so then it holds you from doing the thing that you know you genuinely need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And how does that show up for you? What does procrastination look like for Wangui?
I experience procrastination as well. It looks like me not writing what I have been saying I need to write for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I need to write something for the younger version of me and also for the women around me. I come from a lineage of so many girls. So I want to have them to have like a book. So that has been in the back of my hair. And I know why. I truly do know why.
And why is it?
Of course, I have a fear of being seen. So I'm being seen in a different angle altogether. And there's a fear of being rejected, of course. And there's also a fear of criticism, like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
So, there are conversations that are happening in my head. Nobody has told me that. Everyone who I've told about it, they're like, oh my God, go do it. Natalie's one of those people. She's like, do it. Why not? Like, just do it. So, hey, it's a story. There's a story there. And the story has been there. Now it's more pronounced. But it has been there. I know that I've always wanted to do this from a long time ago.
Yeah. I think I can relate. Because for me, especially with this podcast, for me, it's taken me years. So my procrastination has lasted years. And I think, well, maybe it does for some people. For some people, it's like an afternoon.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's a long time. It's taken me a really long time to get to this place where I finally decided to do it.
Yeah.
But then, it really, I really wasted a lot of time to get here.
Yeah.
But the story that I was telling myself is also a fear of being seen and a fear of what are people going to think?
100.
Are people really going to care what I have to say or what I like or what I'm interested in? There's an embarrassment that you feel. But
all this thing.
I guess some people say, I think the way that I was resisting it is just doing a lot of reading for myself. And I heard somewhere that embarrassment is the cost of entry to some of these things.
Yes.
So I think that's how it's like a healing journey.
It is. It truly is. And I'm really also proud of you for having this podcast, truly. Like, I know that the thing is with procrastination, we procrastinate on the things that really matter the most to us and things that would probably take us from one identity to a completely different identity altogether. And of course, the resistance is there because like shifting identity is like a huge thing, you know, like from being just a girl, you know, just being, and then now you're a podcaster. Now you're an author. Now you're a speaker. So all these things bring a lot of confusion to us. And again, splitting of so many things because you're like, then who am I? Am I a fraud? Who do I become? What needs to change? A lot of comfort zone things have to like get out of the way, right? Because I'm also imagining for you, like with the podcast recording, a lot of things have to go into place for you to ensure that there is a podcast every other week.
I think doing these things that are out of your comfort zone, I've said before, it threatens your sense of self or who you think you are.
100.
And I think that's why we delay. I think that's why we procrastinate.
100%.
Yeah.
It's that.
There's this idea in psychology that we had talked about before where trauma happens and then your psyche splits. So I want to hear more about that in relation to procrastination and self-sabotage.
Oh, that's a good one. So first of all, it's really important for us to know that we all experience trauma. Birth in itself is traumatic. From a nice, comfortable space to the world calls. That's why we are all crying out, you know. The experience in and of itself is traumatic. So it's first of all, it's really important to understand that we do have trauma in and of itself in our body. And so when we experience trauma, and sometimes we think that trauma is like huge, big things that happen to us. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's also the lack there of the things that we really would have wanted as kids. For example, attention, love. If we didn't receive them, then again, as a kid, that's traumatic. It's like if mom is not around, like who is it? Who is around? So then that brings a lot of confusion to a kid, right? And so when we experience trauma, what happens is that our psyche splits. And when our psyche splits, that means then we have three parts that split. And the first one is we have a healthy part, we have a survival part, and then we have a trauma part. So those are the three parts that, the split of the psyche. And so the healthy part is the part within us that knows how to set boundaries, the part of me that can be able to tell, hey, Alma, I don't like that thing that you did. The part of me that can be able to hold healthy relationships, conversations, can be able to trust herself, can be able to have compassion towards herself. That's the healthy part. And then we have the survival part. Now, this is the part that is the strategist, wickedness. And it's the part that comes up with all these self-sabotaging tendencies. So when we experience stuff, anything that is a bit traumatic. So if you did an exam, maybe in grade 5, and it didn't go well, and maybe the people around you did not receive it well, and you made a story about that, that's also trauma, because then trauma is also, what did you interpret about that thing that happened to you? So if you failed, and so maybe mom became a bit cold towards you, or dad told you he's not going to buy you that bicycle that you needed or wanted. So then again, you form a story about it. So what happens is that now that survival mechanism comes up. So for example, if you put a lot of effort in that exam and then it did go the way you wanted it to go, so you now start procrastinating, for example, because then you have to have a strategy to help you not feel the emotions that you felt when, mom maybe gave you silent treatment or dad told you you're not going to get that by school. You failed, right? So that's the survival part, the part within us that is really trying to keep us alive. And that's where the self-sabotaging habits come from. The self-doubt, the playing small, the fear, the anxiety, all these parts are there. And then you go to the trauma part. And the trauma part is now the part of us that is freezed in the moment. So now you remember the example of the kid, I failed an exam and so I experienced something. I can literally remember the image of dad telling me he's not buying me a bicycle or mom literally giving me silent treatment. It's there. It's imprinted. That's the trauma part. And what we do is that I usually I don't know how to draw layers, but this is like the healthy part, and then this is the survival, and then this is the trauma part. So the trauma part is here, and most of us are really doing everything not to heal the trauma part.
Not to heal the
trauma part, or not to touch it, or not to experience it again. So what do? We come up with strategies.
The survival.
So we come up with coping mechanisms. Now that's where the self-sabotaging habits come up. You don't speak up. Because the last time you did, someone laughed at you and you felt something within you. You made meaning out of that thing that happened to you. So then you don't do it. So then that's now the survival part. That's the split in the psyche.
Yeah.
And so when we are working, what is really important is first you need to recognize the survival strategies that you have. And then you need to know that those survival strategies are working so hard to help you with something. And that's what we need to understand. What is it working for you? Let's go back to the procrastination again. The procrastination, for example, for you, it was the fear of being seen, fear of being rejected.
And so the procrastination is the survival.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a survival. And so when people say it's laziness, it's not. You're literally trying to survive.
Yeah.
So the self-sabotage in and of itself is about survival. And that's why we need to be so intentional with ourselves. When you notice you have a coping mechanism, a self-sabotaging strategy, to go within yourself, to ask yourself, to be curious about yourself. What is happening? Where did this come from? Nothing falls just from the sky.
Yeah.
It comes from something. It's informed by something. And so that is the work that, needs to be done.
Yeah. And so the survival part, the procrastination, is essentially trying to stop us from feeling the trauma again.
Yes.
To stop us from going back to that trauma.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, that's very clever of the body, of the brain. Because remember, the work of the brain is to keep us safe.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
Survival.
It is very clever, but at the same time, it just needs an upgrade. I think I've said this before. And some of these things, some of these, this protection that our brain tries to get, it's outdated.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Like we're not being chased by lions anymore.
Yes, 100%.
So we just kind of need an upgrade. And I think now it manifests as these things that threaten our sense of self.
Yeah.
That our brain is trying to protect us from.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is outdated.
Yeah.
And that's why anything that is holding you back from, reaching your highest potential, it's an outdated thing.
Yeah.
That's your healthy part trying to cry out to you.
Yeah.
We need to change something.
Yeah.
We need to change something. We need to change something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So are most of us just walking around traumatized, trying to like acting in our trauma or protecting ourselves from trauma, acting in survival? Really, essentially, that's what you're saying. Most of us are just kind of in survival mode, trying to protect ourselves from feeling whatever trauma that we've been through.
100%.
And so how does that affect how we show up?
It is kind of sad, but then again, if you think about it, it's survival.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything, then you don't know anything. And I always think about myself previously, like before I became aware of all this information, I thought I was doing everything right.
Yeah.
And I thought that the way I was acting, my silent treatment, my not wanting to speak up, not wanting to be seen was like, whatever, it's cool.
Just is what it is.
And then it feels good because you're like, nobody saw me, so it's fine for me to behave the way I am behaving. But the problem is that we are traumatizing each other as well.
Yeah.
And that's why we all have like bad things to say about something because we are not doing the work.
Yeah.
So then I have a tendency to maybe ghost or to silent treat, for example. I do it to you. You feel and interpret something about yourself. What does that mean then? You go to the next one and then you have a mask on.
Yeah.
And so we have so many masks because of the hurt that we've gone through. So it's just, we're just continuing the whole traumatizing each other over and over again.
Domino.
Exactly. It's just a domino effect. And it's because we are not taking a step back and looking at ourselves.
Yeah.
The one question I always ask my clients is, if you were in a Netflix show, you know, like the Emily in Paris. So if you are the main character in a Netflix show, right? What would you shout about to this person about the things that they're doing, the way they're behaving in relationships, the way they're behaving at work, the way they are carrying themselves? Because we all have opinions when we're watching Netflix shows.
We do, but we don't all have like the ability to self-reflect. Let's be all the way for real.
It is true. And that's why I want you to dissociate, to look at it from like a Netflix show.
Yeah.
If you were to dissociate, what would you see?
Yeah.
About yourself, but looking from that point of view, because you also have, you're able to point out things about other people.
Yeah.
So, and it's not always like this one. Maybe let's do, what about me?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
How did this whole relationship play out? How did I, play a part in it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what would the first thing that one needs to do if they recognize, okay, it's one thing to recognize. Yeah. Some of us don't even recognize. Yeah. But if we've recognized, okay, I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah.
And you've decided that you've labeled yourself a procrastinator. I think it's harder to kind of recognize self-sabotage more than procrastination.
Yeah.
Like everyone can say I've procrastinated before.
Yeah.
So you realize you're procrastinating. The first step that you need to take is just disassociate, right? Is that what you're saying? Like kind of take a step back and look at yourself from the outside looking in.
Yes. Ask yourself, how comes I'm struggling with this and not that? How comes you didn't procrastinate to brush your teeth?
Yeah. Yeah. And so once you've kind of identified, or rather identified the reasons why you're doing things, you've kind of recognized your trauma, you've realized you're this way. Oh, this is the protection that you're trying to protect yourself from a certain trauma, and you've identified that trauma.
Yeah.
Then what next?
The awareness of, this is my trauma, this is what happened, and that's why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them. Now you need to now start the work to now reframing and rewriting the story.
Okay. So is that part of the NLP that you've spoken about?
Yes.
Before? Neuro-linguistic programming.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. And neuro-linguistic programming is about the language of the brain. The things that we do, the way we see the world is actually very different from each other because we all have goggles about the world because of what we've gone through. So once you're able to understand that I am procrastinating, for example, because of the fear of failure, and understanding where does it come from, when did it start, and how has that affected my life through and through, then it is important for you to move to the next step, which is the doing.
Yeah.
Because even for you, when it comes to the podcast, you had to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you have to do something. You have to sit down with yourself. You have to calm that inner child of yours and that part of you. You need to rewrite the story. Because then if the story continues, that means you're still in survival. You're still living out that story. And sometimes you might not be able to look at that, by yourself. And that's why you need maybe to look for a coach or a therapist. Someone who can be able to hold space for you. Mm-hmm. We heal in safety. Mm-hmm. And we heal in relationships. Yeah. And I'm sure you've also had that. In as much as I can do the healing work when I'm single, when I get into a relationship, some things will come up that I didn't even know about. So, and sometimes in the journey of learning that I procrastinate and this is why, if you find that you're still feeling stuck in the journey, maybe get somebody to help you look at yourself and maybe to just the gentleness and the kindness that would help you with the healing, would help you be able to move a bit quicker. Because I knew that I never wanted to be seen for a really long time, but I never really did anything about it. It was just there. It's like,
it was just sitting there.
Yeah, it's like, I know I'm shy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people who say that this is just who I am, this is just me, they recognize it.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Oh, I know where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because I know I've said it as well.
Yeah.
But that was before I started my journey.
Yeah.
This is just who I am is very rigid.
Yeah.
And in this journey, you have to be very curious.
Yeah.
There's nothing that this is just who I am.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean this is just who I am? It's very survival, very protective, very mask.
Yeah.
Like you don't want anybody to see. What are you afraid of us seeing?
It is very confronting and in your face.
Yeah.
But then that said, does it take a certain type of person who comes to you? Like, where do I need to be to like come to you? And I feel like there's a lot of work that's been done already by the time I'm coming to you as a coach. There's a lot of acknowledgement. So do you think there's a certain type of person that does this kind of work?
Someone who's tired.
Yeah.
There's an aspect of being so tired of seeing the same patterns over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And also the awareness that I can do better, but I'm not doing it. And I get that's one of the frustrations that people come with. And also it's when you've you know the theory, but now you want to apply it into your life. Because these are two different things. I could know about procrastination, but how is it in my life? You know, how is it showing up in my life? So the kind of person is the person who, and someone who's really ready to do the work and really ready to see their trauma part with a lot of love and kindness, and to see themselves and see that they have been living from a place of survival because that's all they knew. So it's someone who's also very open and very curious to go deep within. And another one is someone with a growth mindset.
Growth mindset. That's a
That's
key one.
Yeah. Growth
That's
mindset.
a key one.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to shift a little bit and talk about how I mean, the stories that we tell ourselves as women in business. To me, I feel like I've seen a lot of women with imposter syndrome. And that might lead to them procrastinating, self-sabotaging, and playing small.
Yeah.
Or even if you get to the point where you're running a business or you started a business, then maybe you're underpricing yourself or undercutting yourself or not walking into the rooms that you need to walk into, delaying on things. What is the story that we need to tell ourselves, honestly, as women entrepreneurs to kind of get out of the cycle that I really feel like it is a cycle that we're in.
Yeah.
Because society is telling us certain things. Yeah. The conditions for us are a certain way. Yeah. When we talk about capital, access to capital and things like that, we don't really have the upper hand. So it's just this like self-fulfilling cycle. And then we feel a certain way about ourselves. Yeah. Is that something we can get out of? And what do we need to start telling ourselves? Yeah. Yeah.
I think any cycle can be broken, especially if it's an individual. Like if Wangui, I and you, Alma, decide that, hey, we're getting out of the cycle of playing small, then we can do it in just small and minute ways, just like we were having the conversation. It's just that doing the small, minute things and trusting yourself. There's also the need to, first of all, again, I'll still go back. And I want us to go back because in as much as I would say, yes, you could break the cycle. Yes, you can get out of it. I also need you to be able to know that this is a survival strategy and it comes from somewhere. First, understand where it comes from. Because maybe playing small is what you saw at home. Maybe mom played small. Maybe all your aunts played small. So you don't have any other like marking scheme, for lack of a better word, to help you be able to start being audacious or being confident. And so you can see it online. And the thing is that I can see it, but it's not getting into me because it's not what I've seen at home. So I want you to first go deeper, a little bit deeper, because the root has to be yanked out a little bit. Because we could also, I've gone to seminars, and it's about like do and be, and I'm like, I hear you, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I go home and I do it for like a week max, and I'm back because like I go back to my normal cycle.
Yes. Yeah.
But to get out of that cycle, you need to uproot that root. You need to be okay to be the first woman maybe in your family to do something very audacious, because then the cycles continue. Because remember, this is not just an Alma and Wangui issue. It has come from back from the women who have brought us up. They also had stories. There's a way they were carried. There was a way they were treated. So if you think about it, then we need to understand where it comes from, and then we need to shift it and then reframe the story, be able to tell ourselves like, it's okay for me to be seen. I know nobody at home allowed themselves to be seen, and it's okay, but I need to allow myself to be seen. It's okay to be seen. And the fear I'm feeling is because no one has been seen.
Yeah.
And it's okay
Yeah.
to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
But that only makes sense after that has been done, because the other one now feels like you start feeling like the imposter, because I'm like, this is a lie. Because then I'm like, where is it coming from? But the reason why, even with NLP, like bringing and making that subconscious conversation that you're having with yourself to the forefront, is so that anytime you find yourself about to get into that cycle again, you get yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Because now you have the willpower. Now you can be able to be like, it's not good. It's not, no, I'm not doing the same thing they did. I'm going to do something completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 100% possible. It starts with doing. Because if I do, then
And
the
it's
little ladies
will do.
will do.
Yeah.
Because then they saw. And so they saw what audacity looks like. But then if they haven't, the story continues.
The story continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I think the key as well, I mean, on top of doing the work that we need to do, right, as individuals, there's a lot of work that we need to do, obviously. But another thing is just surrounding yourself with other women who are doing.
Yeah.
I think there's so much empowerment that happens when you're in a room full of women who know exactly who they are, and they're doing the work and they're doing the do, because it makes you feel like you can do just that. Yeah. But it also just shifts the narrative about who we are and what we're capable of. Yeah. You know, I think part of imposter syndrome is just not seeing other people who look like you in whatever space that it is that you're in.
Yeah.
And so if we see more of each other, it'll help a lot. Yeah. It'll help a lot with whatever trauma that we've had. Yeah. You know, aside from individual trauma, I mean, it's everything society has told us. Yeah. You know?
What story did you have to change for you as Alma to be here?
Yeah.
What is the story you had to start telling yourself?
I think for me, and I think we can get into that, is identity shifting.
Okay.
So like one of the things, and I think it's after a conversation that I heard with you, I came to this realization, and I'm not sure where I learned it from, is making a shift towards anything that I'm doing in life, whatever I'm deciding to do, or whatever goal that I've set for myself. What works for me is that identity shift. It's like the story that you tell yourself, but I really get into whatever character it is that I think I'm trying to play, you know?
Love that. Yeah.
So with this podcast, for example, I'm just like, I'm a podcaster now, you know? I identify as a podcaster now,
Love that.
You know?
I love that.
So, and it's happened in just various aspects of my life. Even with working out, like I work out quite a bit, and I've always identified as a fit person. So when people ask me like, oh, you're so disciplined in being able to do that, and you're so disciplined to go 5 days a week or whatever it is. And it's not actually difficult for me because I identify as a fit person. And I did that not really even having the language for it. Yep. So I just thought that it was interesting. But you can tell us about identity and making that identity shift.
Yeah.
how you can go about just getting started and shifting.
Oh, first of all, I really love what you said because that's everything.
Yeah.
That's literally everything. Identity shifting is so important. And then sometimes it could sound like it's just another thing that we're speaking about,
Yeah.
but it's actually real.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the levels of change, at the highest level of change is identity. And especially with the new year, all of us have New Year's resolutions or things that we want to do. That's great. If I say I want to go to the gym, that's good. But the question is, there's a need to shift your identity. What does a person who goes to the gym do? Like you're saying, for you, it's easy to go 5 out of 5 days because you identify yourself as someone who works out, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's first identity. And then you now set up a story that you're telling yourself about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I am a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
I am a person who values my health.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the habit or the behavior becomes very easy for you to do.
Yeah.
It now becomes like second nature.
Yeah.
But it starts from up there.
Yeah.
And that's why I also insist on having identity-based habits.
Yeah.
And that's just making sure that the things that you're doing are in line with the person that you are. So if you are a podcast, then there are a couple of habits that you also have to do, right?
Yeah.
If I'm a coach, then there's certain things I have to do, because then
Post every week.
Exactly.
Come up with content every week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because then that is in line with my identity.
Exactly.
And that's how identity shifting happens. It
Yeah.
happens by first knowing who I am, who do you want to be? And then that person, what do they do?
Yeah.
And then do those things
Yeah.
every single day
Yeah.
and show up for them.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that brings about the identity shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. It's such a hack, to be honest.
Yeah.
And even however fake that you think it is, initially, it's such a hack
It is.
to just getting to changing anything
100%.
in your life.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that it just seems so aspirational, but it really isn't. For me, it's really worked. And I can say that one of the things that I had issues with that held me back is identifying as an entrepreneur. Because I also thought that an entrepreneur looked a certain way. And also doing this made me realize, hold up, an entrepreneur can look all these different ways.
Yeah.
From the beginning phase to the failure and all these things.
Yeah.
And I really had this relationship with this word and I never identified it as that. And not until I started doing this, So yeah, I just want to say that for anybody who's thinking about doing something is really about that identity shift.
It is.
Yeah.
It truly is. We have to. And even with my clients, one of the sessions is about identity. Who are you?
Yeah.
And what are you doing about it? Because we all have an idea of who we want to be, but there's just like a gap. And then the gap is where the coping mechanisms are coming.
Yeah, of course.
We need to do something different, break out of the cycle, break the loop or the loop continues,
So would you say that that identity shift helps you with consistency, right?
100%.
Right?
100%. Because like you were saying, even 5 days a week is nothing.
Yeah.
It's just normal.
Yeah.
With everything that you're doing, truly.
Yeah. It's not even like discipline anymore, is it? It's just who you are.
Yeah. Because again, just like they say, motivation is really like a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Motivated.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Truly, I would be at home.
Would you go further in saying discipline might be a little bit of a lie?
It is as well. Because you have to first shift your identity and then discipline is second nature.
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
Yeah.
But waiting for discipline?
Yeah. Or these hacks to being more disciplined or whatever it is.
It's that identity will hold you accountable.
Yeah.
If you're a gym girly.
You're a gym girly.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really good insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can get into talking about you a little bit more as Wangui and who you are as a person and how you got into this work.
Yeah.
What led you here on this path of coaching?
Yeah. I am a very curious person. at heart. And even before, I used to be very curious. Every time we'd break from campus, the 2 weeks we used to get, I would find myself Googling very interesting things about why are people doing things the way they're doing them.
Yeah.
Like for a really long time, I always asked myself that question. And even in campus, I think in second year, I wanted to become a family therapist. And I wanted that because I didn't want children to experience like heart. Truly, I didn't. And I hated it. I was like, no, please, can you just see your kid? Just see your kid. Like, please, And then I guess, pharmacy school took over and I really,
Pharmacy school.
Yeah. And then I didn't put much thought into becoming a family therapist. Sorry, a family therapist. And then after campus, life happened. I mean, COVID. I finished campus around COVID time. So then again, after COVID, I was able to start my journey, my healing journey, because I was like, we're cooked up at home. So I started doing, this little test, the MBIT tests,
just out of your curiosity.
Just out of my curiosity. I was like, what are these things? I want to understand myself better. And I was also going through a transition as well, relationally. And I was like, I didn't like that.
Like a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I didn't like that. Something needs to change.
They always take us to those places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to do something. And so I then, I think in COVID, I didn't look for a therapist. So I just worked on myself. I consumed a lot of content. I started reading books. And I think when I started like my internship, because I had now had money, I looked for a therapist and I started working with a therapist. And then after that didn't work with the first therapist.
Why didn't it work?
It wasn't as I wanted it to be. And again, just like they say, like a therapist is like a shoe. If it doesn't
fit,
you just, it's fine. It's okay. And I felt like the modality of it was very present based. And I really wanted to connect the dots because I had like a whole year reading and learning stuff about trauma and about, childhood and about your inner kid and meditating. First of all, I used to do Jay Shetty's meditations every day during COVID.
Yeah.
I was so committed to that journey because I was like, something has to change. I was one of those people who say, I'm not leaving COVID the same person.
Okay.
I'm not gonna it's not gonna be 2021 and I'm just the same person. Something has to shift. So it didn't work with that therapist. And so I later now found my coach who, to be truly honest, has been super, super, super instrumental in my journey to where I am today. The way she took me through the journey really opened my eyes and there were so many light bulbs and I was like, yes, I finally found it. This is it. And it was the questions that she used to ask me, the questions that made me reflect, the stories. I could finally understand, oh my God, I have so many stories about
So what
everything.
was it? What exactly was it that she did, that she asked you, that really hit you and resonated with you, where you're like, okay, this is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the questions. I have so many good points that some little nuggets that I always they stay with me from the sessions that we had together.
Yeah.
But I would say that one of it was when I was asked, why are you not doing what it is that you need to do? Yet you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I have started this thing, I have a business, but I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not showing up. And every business coach I'm paying money is telling me the same thing.
Yeah.
Show up online. People need to see you. People need to know you. So get up there. I'm not selling a shoe. I'm selling something that is very personal. I'm selling journals.
Yeah.
So people need to see me. And I was like, yeah. And then when she asked me that question, I was like, yeah. And a lot of tears were shed, actually. Every time I go for those sessions, it's just a crying session. And I'm like, it's that because I fear being seen.
Yeah.
I'm really scared of being seen.
So it was kind of therapy for you as well.
It was because then it helped me be able to see that there's a younger version of me that is really, really scared about being perceived.
Yeah.
And because she's never been seen before,
Yeah.
or from what she interpreted from what was given to her, what she experienced. And so hiding is better.
Yeah.
And so with that, I was like, yeah, something has to change. Something has to change. And it's like, now I have to create my own safety
Yeah.
with this thing because I need to move forward. And that's the same thing with like all of us know that we're meant to do something, but then what is not allowing you to get there? So now it's like the fear of being seen is what is holding me back.
Yeah.
If I didn't allow myself to be seen, well, I don't know, I don't think we'd be here.
Yeah.
I truly don't think we'd be here because then I'd still be hiding.
Yeah.
But I could know that I had a fear of being seen, but I can be able to now like calm my nervous system and just show up.
Yeah.
Because the nerves are still there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are they going to say about me? But now I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
We will be fine. I'm an adult.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
Is that the story you told yourself? Is that the story you told yourself that you're an adult
Yes.
to get over that fear of being seen?
I tell that to myself because, again, from what I was telling you, the past becomes the present, is that now I'm trying to interpret that the past is happening right now and now I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, no, they're not. You see, now it's like, okay, now I'm back to the same dynamic. So it's still survival. It's
Yeah.
really not helpful.
Yeah.
But now it's being able to know I'm an adult. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
If any comment comes that I don't like, we're going to be cool.
Yeah.
If we need to cry, we'll cry, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Because that's also another paradox that the brain does, where the brain wants to keep you in that spot, again, safety. So what will I do? I'll not do anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid if I do, then a comment will come. A comment, yeah, it will come, but it hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You then push yourself back from starting. I'm afraid of the comments. I'm afraid of being perceived. We are all perceiving each other. First of all, that's the thing. You know, like we are all perceiving each other. I know we as human beings have the flashlight effect where we think everybody is looking at us. That's not it. People are so focused in their lives and about their lives.
That's the story I told myself.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody cares.
I love
No one
that.
cares.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
No one cares about what you're doing. Nobody cares enough to, criticize you the way you think you're going to be criticized,
Yeah. And the thing is, you're being perceived even without you doing anything.
Exactly. If you sit there in silence,
You might as
you're
well.
still going to be perceived.
100%. So you might as well be perceived doing the thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can perceive me.
Yeah.
It's truly okay.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. I'll figure it out. I'll know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
I'll calm myself down. If I need to rock myself, I'll rock myself in bed in case I'm feeling uncomfortable, but I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Be good.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of strengthening the healthy part.
Yeah.
Because again, there's a myth about like healing. Like you'll not be triggered.
Yeah.
You will be triggered. Triggers will happen left, right, and center. But it's how you respond to them. Because then if I'm perceived and it's a perception that I did not like, then I hide, then I'm going back to what I knew. But if I can be able to hold myself and be like, it's okay. It's okay to be seen.
Yeah.
It's okay to be perceived.
Yeah.
And then move forward.
Yeah.
It's part of the journey. Yeah, pretty much.
So you had this breakthrough with your coach, and then you decided, okay, I have to do this for other people.
Yes. Because I really wanted people to experience the magic of seeing yourself. And even before I started this journey of becoming a coach, when I was having my sessions, I was preaching it to everybody. Every one of my friends could attest to this and say that I was always like, you need the number. You need her number. Please go see her. Go talk to her because she's so good. She'll help you see yourself in a way that you'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe this is what I should pursue.
Yeah.
Because it made me see myself in a way that I truly don't think I was. I felt like I was in a shell, and it's like the world is happening around me. But now I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. Can you see me? I'm here. So yeah.
Amazing. And how's business for you right now? What kind of response are you receiving from your clients and from potentially the market? What is it telling you about your services, and are Kenyans responding really well? Because I know that speaking to other coaches,
Yeah.
I know that this is something that's very hard to convince people to invest in themselves in this way, because they kind of need to see something tangible. And there's a lot of work that they need to do for themselves, and you're guiding them through it. So I feel like some people would be reluctant to kind of go for your services. So what's the response been like?
First of all, we have to start with it's okay to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
It truly
First.
is. It's truly okay for you to pay for that therapy session,
Yeah.
for that coaching session.
Yeah.
The same way you'd pay for a gym membership to work on your physical.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to pay for somebody to help you see yourself. And I think it's maybe something that's not normalized. Again, we've not seen it around. So nobody's gone to therapy around you. So then again, there's a bit of shame as well. Maybe you're like, why do I need it? Or I'm pretending, or I'm too much, I'm too sensitive. Everyone else has gone through the same thing and they're okay.
Yeah.
There's all that chatter in the back of our heads. And the thing is that with the clients that I have worked with, the ones that have taken the leap and invested in themselves,
Yeah.
Alma, the response is so good.
Yeah.
The responses are so good. I get messages on a weekly basis from clients. Oh my God, it was so good. Today I was triggered. I was not able to handle 1, 2, 3, but I was really able to calm myself down. And I'm really grateful for the tools we learned in session.
Yeah.
Others, it's now finally I'm able to see I really don't think that job is for me. Others is I'm going to leave that relationship. It's not working for me. It's no longer working for me. And I know that the tangibility of it, like just like you've said, I don't know if that's a English word, but hey, I get that we cannot see the things that are going to happen, because if it's a gym, then my glutes are going to look huge, exactly. Like it's something I can see. But when it comes to personal development, there's also a cost that we're paying. The cost is in 5 years' time is 2025. So 2030. No, wait, 2026. Jesus, 2026. So in 2031, if nothing changes, then what does that look like for you?
That would be devastating for me.
Or even let's go 2 years.
Yeah.
If nothing changes, if the self-doubt is still there, if the playing small is still there, if the procrastination is still there, if the self-sabotaging habits are still there, how much time will you waste? How much time will you steal from yourself that would have been put into something good that would move the needle in your life?
Yeah.
That becomes a very sobering question altogether.
Yeah.
Because then you can notice that I'm not doing some things and, so 2 years I'll still be here. And the thing is that time moves so quickly.
Yeah. It really comes really fast. And then before you know it, you've woken up 10 years later and you're still miserable.
There.
Yeah.
And again, and like I was telling you, one of my things that I tell myself is I really don't want to look back and tell myself, oh my God, I should have.
Yeah, I should have done that.
I should have done that. Yeah. I'm going to do it. If I fail, cool. But I did something. But when it comes to investing in yourself, and especially yourself, you're your biggest asset. And I know that's a thing that we hear over and over again. But especially because the body keeps the score, and what we are doing sometimes is really not informed by what is happening here. Sometimes I'm just responding to things that, that relationship, that man is reminding me of my dad. Yeah. And I don't know how to navigate it, because then again, the body, the way maybe they're talking to you. So all these things are being triggered within you.
Yeah.
You speak up in a boardroom and then nobody listens to you. And it takes you back to the dining table when you spoke and nobody listened to you. So if you think about it, then it costs you quite a lot to not allow yourself to invest in yourself, to give yourself the gift of looking within yourself, to be curious about yourself, to be curious about where did you come from? Where did my mom come from? Where did my dad come from? What are the stories that have been passed down to me that are still within me, that I might not see them? Because sometimes we don't walk around with the belief, like the belief that that someone is going to reject me, or all these things, or the stories that are in the back of my head. We don't walk around with them. we walk around with the coping mechanisms, but the story is still attached there.
Yeah.
So the procrastination, there's a story. I'm afraid of failing. And if I fail, then I'm not worth it of the bicycle, yada,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, investing in yourself is really, really important.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, yeah, it's the best gift, actually.
Yeah.
It is, truly.
I do think that it does take a certain mindset, though,
does.
to get there. The growth mindset that you mentioned, for sure.
100%.
Do you think that we're addicted to suffering?
That's a good one. That's a good one. In and of itself, but it's not that we want the suffering. It's not that we want the suffering, but it's because we don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So it's more better. It's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
It's comfortable.
We're too comfortable in our misery.
Yeah. From evolution, our brain is about fight or flight.
Yeah.
Remember those guys?
Fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah, living in the bushes.
Yeah.
Like if there's something in the bush,
yeah,
you have to run. There's no way you're going to just sit down. So there's a negativity bias that we have, and the work is towards correcting that and bringing ourselves to helpful ways of being. So we kind of sort of are addicted to it. And the story is good. Like, I want to share my story to you, Alma, and tell you this is what happened, this is what went wrong. And it does make sense, because finally the part of me is getting that someone is listening.
We're getting something from that story.
100%.
There's something that fulfills us.
Yes.
In whatever state that we're in.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether it's suffering or whatever we do that's like not conducive to us thriving. There's something, pleasure, whatever it is we get from it.
Truly it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be here. You can say it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Because then there's always another way to go about it.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Which needs a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
Truly. You need to be and allow yourself to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There has to be
discomfort. Discomfort is
part of the journey.
Yeah, it is. It's
you cannot
inevitable.
You cannot
avoid And anyone who avoids discomfort, I want to see where you're at in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just the way of life, fact
100%.
of life. We have to be able to be uncomfortable
100%
and just get used to it. That should just be the thing.
Yeah. I think it's even better to be uncomfortable every other single time than just be comfortable.
Yeah. But that's that software upgrade that we talked about.
You have to 100%. Yeah, you have to upgrade the software. For you, Alma, what had to change? Like, what is the software upgrade for you that had to happen? To allow you to do things differently and to show up the way you show up for you. What had to shift?
Are you asking me? Or are you...
I'd love to.
What had to shift for me to get to this point?
Yeah.
First of all, it's a journey. I think it's always going to be. I'm always going to be upgrading.
That's true. I love that.
It's always going to be a journey for me, and I think my personality really has. Like, my nature has helped. I'm curious, like yourself. And I'm curious to know more. And that curiosity has driven me to just be open to things being done differently. I've always been an open person. I think over the years, I've just learn to try new things. I'm that kind of person. I think that's carried me. But healing, I acknowledge that I need to heal, and I acknowledge that I need to take action to heal. And my why is just so strong that anything getting in the way of that, even myself, is doomed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think I just have a really strong why, and I really know that I'm destined for certain things, and there's just no getting in the way of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really
So,
good.
of course, there's always triggers, and there's always moments of procrastination. There's all these moments, but I think it's accepting that those things come and go,
Yeah.
and those states of mind are never really permanent for me.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Truly, yeah. Because
Thank you.
the triggers are there,
Yeah.
but you forge forward.
Yeah.
Love that. That's really good.
What would you tell someone who's listening, who sees themselves in the things that you've just described? What are the first steps that they need to take? And maybe without even having to see you, what would you tell them to do first?
The first thing is I want you to first look at your life and just take inventory and see how have you held yourself back in one way or another.
And be really honest
And be
about
honest
that.
with yourself, because that needs a little bit of honesty.
Yeah.
Is it that there was a job opening at work and you never applied, yet you knew you could get it? So be honest with yourself. First, do that. Number 2, expose yourself to materials that educate you about these things. Like listen to this podcast, grab another one, buy a book that allows you to start looking at things differently. Because if you don't know, you don't know. Mm-hmm. But then if you know, you know. Yeah. Then you know, like, ignorance is bliss. It's good. It's sometimes on this journey, I'm usually like, I wish I didn't know. Because if I didn't know, I'd just like move on. But now I know and I have to do better. So introspect and then get the books and the podcasts that will help you be able to listen and hear about these conversations more. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents about it.
Yeah. I think consuming a certain type of content is underrated, I think. I think you can get a lot from consuming content without actually having to go to a coach, but I guess it has to be the right content.
It has to be the right content. And content, also there has to be a little bit of intentionality.
Yes, for sure.
Because if you're consuming content and you're not taking action, then you're just consuming.
Yeah.
But if you're consuming and again, maybe, introspecting, sitting back and asking yourself, okay, whatever she said, do I have it?
Yeah.
And how do I move forward? And most times in books or in podcasts, there are like takeaways or things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Try do them.
Yeah.
Try actualize them. They give like tools on how to go about it. Like try implement them and see how it goes. Because consuming is great.
Yeah, don't consume and just sit there. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to do something.
Yeah. You have to do something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's go to the quick fire as we wrap it up.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could wake every woman up to just one truth about her own power, what would it be?
You're capable of so much.
Being a woman, let me just tell you, women are superheroes.
Yeah.
So I think just this is not my quick fire.
No, please tell me. Like, I'd love to hear that. Please share. Yeah.
No, women are so powerful.
100%.
Yeah. It's something I learn every day speaking to you guys.
Yeah.
And we really underestimate ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much that we have within us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're capable of so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's one habit that changed your life?
It's journaling.
Journaling.
Oh. That was what held me through 2020.
Yeah.
Throughout that journey.
Yeah.
Through that period of time, it was a journaling because it was a lot of introspection.
Yeah.
It was a lot of checking in with myself. How am I feeling? What is going on? What have I learned today? How does that apply to me? So journaling has been a really good thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A book you'd recommend most to those who need the content?
Yeah. I have one book that I really recommend to everyone is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss.
I started reading that.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Please. Oh my God, you have to tell me how it goes.
Even the first couple of pages, it's life-changing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's snatching as well. Because you're like, girl, are you looking at me?
It's confrontational. Huh?
It is. Okay. It is. Yeah. It's a really good book.
Yeah.
Everyone should have it. Just please get it.
And read it more than once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I literally have 2 copies of the book. Because I love the book so much and it really changed something within me. I can literally remember when I read it and how my life kind of started shifting as well with how I saw myself. Because like, why are you procrastinating? that comfort zone, all these things, you know? And anyway, let me not ramble about that.
Journaling or meditation?
That's a tough one.
Both?
I'm going to go for both.
If you had to pick one.
Oh, come on, Alma. Oh my God, I'm just going to go for both.
Really?
They really give me a different feeling
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah.
Meditation is very calming for me, and journaling is very on paper. And they both kind of help.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. Yeah.
Okay,
That's a
we'll
tough
go
one.
with both.
Yeah.
What's something you used to believe about yourself that's no longer true?
I used to believe that I'm not interesting. Yes. I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
You're very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You can finish the sentence. Success feels like
Being at peace with myself.
peace.
Peace.
Peace is underrated.
Oof. You know, like being at peace with myself.
Yeah.
And I think also honoring myself.
Yeah.
That's what success looks like for me and feels like. Yeah. Peace and honoring. Yeah.
And one question you wish clients would ask themselves more often.
Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Just ask that to yourself, like the playing small, not speaking up. Where is it coming from? When did it start?
Yeah.
That will bring a lot of things into your clarity,
Yeah.
your, awareness.
I think that's a shift. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the shift.
100%.
That's where the shift begins.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Wangui.
Thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you.
Thank you so much, Alma. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, and I really love your energy and everything that you're doing here with the podcast. It's really beautiful to see you.
Thank you.
Keep at it.
Thank you.
I'm also in your energy today.
Thank you.
Love it. It's really good.
We'll do a catch-up session.
Please, let's do it.
For sure.
Are you going to read the book and then we can catch up?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
let's do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.